Variety is the spice of life. After playing game after game in the same old venue, it's nice to take a vacation, and just about every league out there has taken a chance on what you might call a gimmick game. Regular season or exhibition game played in an unusual venue for the sole purpose of marketing. If Kevin Costner walking through a cornfield yields the most viewers of any regular season baseball game in over 15 years, leagues everywhere are going to keep finding new ways to promote their in-game product, even if it means putting a game on a mountain or something. The greatest gimmick games of all time are coming up right after this. Number 5, NBA Outdoors at Indian Wells Tennis Garden, 2008.
It was colder than a out there, and you can quote me on that.
Those are the immortal words of Shaquille O'Neal, who at that point in time was known as the Big Cactus. That's how Shaquille O'Neal talks.
It was colder than a out there.
Shaq said that after his Phoenix Suns played the Denver Nuggets in 2008 at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, just outside of Palm Springs in Southern California. Sounds warm, but the temperature at tip-off was 72 degrees with 7-mile-per-hour winds. By the fourth quarter, the temperature had dipped to 64, and the wind peaked at 15 miles per hour. When you're wearing sleeveless basketball jerseys and trying to shoot a ball with pinpoint precision, those conditions aren't exactly ideal, and it showed on the court. The Nuggets and the Suns combined to shoot just 3 for 27 from behind the arc, while the Nuggets hit only 18 of their 38 free throw attempts. Only one player, Steve Nash, finished with double-digit points, while the final score was 77-72. The wind, however, did not affect Shaquille O'Neal's free throw shooting. Not much of a shootout for two of the best offensive teams in the NBA. Needless to say, the first outdoor NBA game in 36 years was a failed experiment, but they gave it another shot a year later, producing much better results this time. Both teams broke 100 points, the Warriors winning by a 3-point margin, and Anthony Morrow led all scorers with 30 points. The difference was in the conditions. This time the weather was perfect, and the outdoor environment mimicked the indoor experience. Number 4, NFL CFL Interleague Games, 1941 to 1961. Since 2007, the NFL has been expanding its borders in the regular season, playing games across the pond in England. Everyone loves it, except for the players who have to sit on a plane for 5 to 11 hours each way, and the West Coast fans that have to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch their team play in front of the Queen. Recently, the NFL has even ventured south to Mexico City, where the air is thin, the barbed wire is real, and the laser pointers are bountiful. Once upon a time, however, the NFL and the AFL used to play games with their neighbors to the north, the type that only used 3 downs and stretched their end zones out to 20 yards. From 1941 to 1961, teams from the NFL/AFL and the CFL squared off in 10 different exhibition games, battling out for North American supremacy. The surprise is not that the NFL/AFL won 80% of those games. The surprise is that the Canadians managed to pull off 2 upsets in that 20-year span. The last game the two countries ever played was the most notable. On August 8, 1961, the Hamilton Tiger Cats laid 38 on the Buffalo Bills, beating them by a 17-point margin. Even using the metric system, that's still a blowout. Sure, these were just tune-up games for the Americans while the Canadians were in the midst of their regular season, but a win is a win. But what would happen today if the NFL and CFL reignited their rivalry from the middle of the 20th century? Obviously, they would have to use 3.5 downs and play with 15-yard fields. But the most likely result would be the NFL unapologetically making moose meat out of the Canadians. Number 3, NHL Lake Tahoe Games, 2021.
As it lay there with the shadows of the mountains brilliantly photographed upon its still surface, I thought it must surely be the fairest picture the whole earth affords.
That's a quote from Mark Twain, because that's how Mark Twain talks. Twain was writing about Lake Tahoe, the beautiful site nestled on the border of California and Nevada, and yes, he actually really did say that. Some know it for its natural beauty. It's also where Michael Corleone had Fredo whacked. I knew it was you. And most importantly for this video, it's where the NHL hosted a pair of outdoor games in February of 2021. Neither games had fans due to COVID restrictions at the time, but even on TV you could glimpse the majesty of Edgewood Tahoe Resort, the shimmering lake surrounded by snowy banks and beautiful green pines. It was the perfect setting for professional hockey. The Lake Tahoe games replaced the NHL's usual Winter Classic, which was supposed to be held in NC State's Carter Finley Stadium. Without fans, however, it didn't make sense to play the game in that kind of venue, so the series was moved from North Carolina to northern Nevada, where the Golden Knights took on the Avalanche in the daytime before the Flyers battled the Bruins under the lights. Unfortunately, as beautiful of a scene it was, not everything went according to plan. The first game between the Knights and the Avs was suspended due to poor ice conditions caused by the heat and sunlight. Oh yeah, ice and the sun don't pair especially well, and that's why we usually do these things indoors. Regardless, the game was eventually played and the Avs emerged victorious in the Knights' home state. The puck dropped for Game 2 around 5 p.m. local time, meaning darkness had fallen upon the rink by the start of the second period, ruining all of the photo ops. The Bruins didn't appear to be afraid of the dark, however, scoring 7 goals by the end of the night. Number 2, football at Fenway, 2015. Fenway Park is home to some of the most iconic moments in baseball history. Carlton Fisk's walk-off home run in the 1975 series, Dave Roberts' stolen base in the 2004 ALCS. Dave Roberts' stolen base in the 2004 ALCS, and did you know the Make-A-Wish Foundation let comedian and professional clapper Jimmy Fallon shoot a movie there called Fever Pitch, and it sucked. Fenway is a baseball cathedral, but in 2015 it was converted into a gridiron as it hosted Boston College and Notre Dame in November of that year. It's hard to think of 2 more suitable teams for the occasion. The Fighting Irish entered the game ranked number 4 in the nation and still struggled to fend off the 3-7 Eagles, fighting for hometown pride at a local landmark. Notre Dame quarterback Deshaun Kaiser threw 3 interceptions and plenty more in the NFL, but Boston College's offense squandered too many golden opportunities and were unable to pull off what would have been a massive upset. Of course, this was far from the first football game at Fenway, and it won't be the last. High school football games have been played there as early as 1912, the same year the Titanic sank and when Dave Gettleman was hired by the Giants. Professional teams like the Boston Bulldogs, the Boston Shamrocks, the Boston professional football team, and finally the Boston Patriots settled in Fenway Park in the 60s. Current Patriots owner Robert Kraft said he was inspired to buy the team when he saw them at Fenway, citing the goosebumps at seeing them come out of the dugout. And now for the greatest gimmick game ever, the MLB Field of Dreams 2021. 1989's Field of Dreams. Here's a quick rundown of the classic film for you youngsters. Kevin Costner is a farmer who starts hearing voices in a cornfield. You build it, he will come. Instead of planting crops, he builds a fucking baseball field. Then ghosts start to show up and they charge admission for that. The 80s were weird, man. Fast forward to 2021. In order to commemorate the 30-year anniversary of the movie, the MLB constructed a beautiful 8,000-seat ballpark in Dyersville, Iowa, right next to the original field that was caused by Ray Kinsella's schizophrenic episode. Led by an introduction from Costner himself, players from the New York Yankees and Chicago White Sox took the field in dramatic fashion, emerging from the rows of corn in the outfield, just like Shoeless Joe Jackson did in the movie. They even wore replicas of the wool uniforms their franchise wore back in 1919. The game itself was a thriller, a back-and-forth affair. Aaron Judge hit a pair of bombs, Jose Abreu went yard, and the teams combined for 7 runs in the 9th inning alone. The game was finally capped off by an opposite field walk-off into the corn by Tim Anderson. A movie script ending. Ultimately, the most gimmicky sports experience possible was a smash success. An otherwise run-of-the-mill matchup became the most watched regular season game since 2005, captivating 5.9 million viewers. With those numbers, it would be impossible not to run it back, and that's exactly what the MLB is going to do in 2022 when the Cubs face the Reds. It's so lucrative that it almost invites the NFL to do a longest yard game in a prison yard. I'm thinking Bengals versus Ravens for that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting films on sports. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video. Yes, you made it this far. You might as well subscribe.